Exactly as reported. A Degree 6 revolt, population equivalent to the Duros uprising on Zilior. Subjects occupy a moderate radius of jungle. Good. Good. I recognize you from my dealings with Imperial intelligence. I am Lord Drow. When the Empire encounters resistance on its conquered worlds, they call me. I'm here to end the slave uprising on Dromund Kaas.
You enjoy your job, don't you?
Dominating lesser beings and squashing their will to resist? Of course I enjoy it. I think you will too. The situation is this. A Sith Lord was constructing a colossal statue of himself in the jungle. His slaves revolted and armed themselves. The Colossus remains unfinished and well-armed slaves now control the jungle. An embarrassment for the Empire, but an opportunity for me.
Sounds like the perfect opportunity to thin the slave population.
Slave deaths will be a byproduct of my plan, but not the focus. I'm testing a toxic weapon, a poison called Quell. Its victims experience a prolonged state of agonizing pain before finally dying. The victims' allies are so horrified by Quell's effects they lose their wills to resist. At least that's what I intend to prove.
What a disturbing experiment. You're quite the sadist, Lord Drow.
Please, there's no need for flattery. I need someone to introduce a controlled amount of Quell into the slaves' water supply, so that I can determine the proper dosage. The work is dangerous, there will be armed slaves everywhere, but your success will be well rewarded. What do you say?
I'm at home dealing death from the shadows.
Indeed. The most effective agents of the Empire are the ones who work behind the scenes. My assistant Sergeant Slarin will recommend the correct dosage of Quell and give you a supply. See him at the research tent.
If I know Lord Drow's tastes, which unfortunately I do, he sent you for the Quell toxin.
Are you implying something, Sergeant?
My superior appreciates a particular sort of talent, that's all. What if I told you this experiment is pointless? That past studies have shown increased suffering has no impact on the speed of surrender. This has nothing to do with accelerating the end of a rebellion. Lord Drow simply takes perverse thrill in gratuitous suffering.
Very interesting, I'm sure.
Don't you see? Lord Drow compromises efficiency for his own twisted fixations. I want this assignment over with. The faster this rebellion ends, the faster I'll be reassigned to more important work. Serving Lord Drow's bloodlust has stunted my career. If not for his inefficiency, I'd be a captain by now.
You think a lot of yourself?
I know my potential, just as I know who's holding me back from achieving it. Lord Drow's dosage of Quell toxin will have slaves writhing in agony for pointless weeks, during which this area will remain volatile. I've prepared a dose that will kill the slaves efficiently, which is better for the Empire and for me. Will you deliver my dosage instead?
I want these renegade slaves to pay for disobeying the Empire.
You're not merely prolonging the slaves' agony, but my own as well. Committed to your work, aren't you? Very well. Take the Quell toxin and inject it into the slave camp's water filtration systems. See Lord Drow for your payment when you're done.
You delivered the exact results I hoped for. Quell is like an imbibed torture device infesting those rebel slaves. It's exhilarating to see the effects on the survivors who can only stand by and watch helplessly.
Looks like all that's left is to settle the bill.
I promised you'd be compensated well, and I stand by my promises. Quell toxin will be a great asset to the Empire. Uprisings will end painfully and decisively. You've earned your reward, my friend. Now go. I have horror and despair to observe and chronicle.
Look at them out there, they're like animals. Hundreds of slaves with no one to command them and without a thought in their minds as to what to do with their freedom. Like I said, the slaves are animals. But we've noticed strange behavior in the pack. And my superiors want to know more. Some of the slaves are killing each other. We don't know if they're mad or hungry, desperate, or if there's a faction of slaves who've turned on the rest.
I don't see the problem.
Well, it might not matter, but we want to know for certain what's going on. We know that the killings are ritualistic. The murderous slaves come in the night, stab their foes and paint themselves in blood. If you could investigate, catch them in the act and take them down, maybe you could find a clue to their motives.
I'll be back once I learn anything.
Look for any slave who's turned on his peers. With luck, he'll lead us to answers.
You're not the initiate, but you're strong to have killed so many. You honor us. Welcome to our prison.
What sort of a freak of a slave are you?
I am Traga Unvor, leader of the Unchained. I am master of my hatred. When the other slaves broke free, I laughed. Like you, I knew their escape was a delusion, for only Sith possess true freedom.
Either way, you're still stuck here.
To leave would have been to die in the fire of Imperial blasters. I had other plans. I saw a chance to prove myself. I culled weak from strong. I began to kill and to teach. I showed slaves freedom through bloodshed. Now my followers and I are the masters here. And soon, we will become Sith ourselves.
Murdering your fellow slaves doesn't make you Sith.
We are hateful. We are powerful. We are free. In this way, we are already Sith. Now you can spread word of us to the Empire. Your strength is great. With your approval, we shall serve. Carry our message of allegiance to your masters, and we will become the new face of the Empire. We will be champions of the dark side.
The Empire will hear your message.
As it should be. Take this datapad, my plea to the Sith Lords. For now, I am not ready to leave the Colossus. With every kill, I feel my power grow. And there are many slaves who may yet join me. But soon, we will all be ready. We will await word from the Empire.
I'm sure you will. Doesn't make you any less of a madman.
You underestimate us. If we meet again, perhaps you will see this. Farewell for now. We return to the shadows.
It's good to see you back. I knew those slaves couldn't hold their own against you. I take it you managed to track down one of the murderers. What's their story? Can we use them?
They're crazy, but they may be useful. They sent this.
What do you mean? Let me see that datapad. This is madness. They're serious. Slaves who think they can become Sith.
I'm just relaying the information.
I understand. Of course. Of course you're right. I'll inform Command. I'm not actually authorized to speak with Sith Lords on the blockade. But I'll make sure they know too. It's been an honor working with you. I hope we meet again.
Hey, Imperial. How's it going? Seeing as how you're already killing slaves and causing a fuss, how'd you like to make a pile of credits?
Amazing how a few credits can brighten up the day.
That's what I like to hear. Let me give you the lowdown. So Darth Vowron is on the Dark Council, and his apprentice Lord Ket wants to advance, so he starts building a giant statue to his master. But Lord Ket doesn't want his master to know, so he brings in slaves from off-world. Slaves rebel, and we get this mess.
Buy cheap slaves and get a rebellion. Everyone knows that.
Here's where it gets complicated. Lord Ket wants to save face, but secretly. He calls in me and my mercs. By the time we get here, the slaves have captured some giant industrial drills, and they're getting ready to bring down the whole giant statue. Our best team goes in with explosives to blow up the drills. Slaves kill every last one. Got a pile of credits for anyone who grabs those explosives, hooks them to a giant drill, then fights off slaves until the explosives detonate. That was a fantastic show. That drill just lit up the night. Here's the credits, as promised.
I used to be respected, you know. My word carried weight. One tiny mistake and suddenly no one trusts me. My troops were acting strangely, plotting something. Obviously they were traitors. All the warning signs were there. A smart move was to kill them all. How could I know they were planning a surprise party for my promotion?
You killed all the troops under your command.
I was under a lot of stress at the time. I've got my wits about me now. You have to listen to me. This time, I'm not being paranoid. This time, I've identified a major threat to Imperial security. There are Kubaz spies all over the jungle, and they're invisible. You can only see them when lightning flashes disrupt their stealth technology.
Don't be stupid.
Just like my superiors dismissing me because of a simple past mistake. You have to believe me. The Empire's enemies are up to something. The Kubaz are here assessing our strengths and weaknesses for them. I just know it. Scour the jungle, watch the lightning flashes, and strike when you see a Kubaz. Kill the snouted scum and bring me proof. Aha! A holocommunicator with Kubaz markings on it. This will shut up those fools calling me paranoid. With this, I'll finally prove there are spies all around us. My superiors can't ignore this kind of evidence. You've done a great service for both me and the Empire, my friend. Take this, and my thanks.
Yes. I could use someone with a bit of finesse. This day has been intolerable. My idiot apprentices got themselves killed during a simple ritual, and they still have the runes I entrusted to them. They just had to summon a dark side beast, a Sith spawn, and bring it to me. I even researched the artifact to bind it. Could you help?
I think we can work out a deal.
Yes, you'll be showered in rewards once I have my Sith spawn. Oh, you'll need to subdue the Sith spawn before the artifact can bind it.
There isn't a creature alive that can take me.
Get the runes from my apprentices' bodies and take them to the archway in the jungle. The artifact is hidden there. It'll guide you. Well, don't just stand there. Go and get my Sith spawn. Yes, magnificent. Only the dark side engenders such power, such... Oh, you're still here. Will this satisfy you?
Glad I went to all that trouble.
You did well, but my work's just begun. Leave me.